Hi everybody. Today I am going to show you how to make this neat little skull pattern. This pattern is not my own. It is an adaptation of a beanie pattern that I found on YouTube. I will attach the link, so don't worry. But the original beanie is worked in rounds going around the hat, and I kind of adapted that pattern to be able to work in rows, so going back and forth across each row. This pattern is really simple. It's just a few rows repeat. You have 2 rows, you can see here, of half double crochet between the skulls themselves. It gives it a little bit more definition. You're able to tell the difference from where the skulls are a little bit better. I don't know how well you can see that. We'll do it that way. Some of mine look kind of funky, but that's only because it hasn't been blocked yet. It's not finished. But I am going to show you how to make one repeat, so one skull, one row of skulls. This pattern, you can use any type of yarn, any hook, as long as the hook goes with the yarn. I'm using my H hook with some scrap yarn that I had from years ago. This is Red Heart brand. I think the color is called teal. Not too sure on that, but like I said, you can use any yarn for this, any hook that goes with the yarn you choose. It doesn't matter. It's your choice. So let's get started. This pattern, you want to do multiples of 10. You want to keep a space between the skulls. This way they're not all like mushed together and they look funky when they're not separated like this. So the multiples of 10 will give you the chain 2 space on either side of these skulls, and it just keeps the uniformity throughout the whole piece. So with that being said, I've already done the next 2 rows of half double crochet. Now this pattern, I'm kind of starting from the middle. As you can see all the way back, I'm kind of starting like in the middle here, but this pattern is worked the same throughout the whole piece. So because I'm starting in the middle, you can still start from the beginning and it'll still turn out the same. Like I said, there are 2 rows here. 1 row of half double crochet, 2 rows of half double crochet. Okay, so that being said, flip it over. It doesn't matter right side, wrong side, doesn't really matter, it's no big deal. So once you get 2 rows of half double crochet, you chain 1 and then you slip stitch the next 5 stitches. So starting in this stitch right here, the first stitch of the row. Oops. Sorry, my yarn is kind of old. There we go. 1, 2, got stuck. 3, 4, 5. Okay, and you can kind of see you're starting to line up with the row below, with the repeat below. So once you slip stitch the first 5, you chain 4, 3, 4, and then you double crochet into the same stitch where you just came out of. So it's going to look like that. You've got the chain 4. It's going to kind of look a little weird. It's not going to be exactly snug. It's supposed to look like that. There's supposed to be a little bit of a gap there, so don't worry about that. Once you get that done, you're going to double crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to chain 4 again, 4, and then you are going to slip stitch into the same stitch of your last double crochet. So this space right here where this double is coming out of, you're just going to slip stitch right into there. Okay, and there's your jawbone. I know it doesn't look like much now, but once we get to like the nose and the bridge and everything, you will see it. Okay, once you get that one, you slip stitch the next 5 stitches like you did at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then you're just going to repeat the process that you did here. You're going to repeat it over here. So chain 4, double crochet into the same stitch. Okay, and then you're going to double crochet in each of the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you're going to chain 4 again. 3, 4. All right, and then slip stitch back into the same space your double is in. Oops. There we go. And there's your next jawbone. Now you can do this as many times across the row as you have multiples of 10. So if you have 50 stitches going across, you're going to have 5 little jawbones. And then once you complete the last jawbone, you just slip stitch to the end. 1, 2, come on, 3, 4. Now it's okay if you do not have the same number of stitches on either side. But if you want to, you can, that's fine. I just kind of adjusted mine to where my skulls line up better. I like to have mine directly on top of one another as much as possible. You can kind of see how each jawbone lines up with the one underneath it. I like to have mine all even and everything like that. You don't have to, but if you're anything like me, this pattern will help you achieve that. Okay, so that's the first row of your repeat. After the 2 solid rows of half double crochet, that's the first row of your skull. So you're going to chain up 3, and you're going to turn your work. Okay. Now, you're going to chain 2 more. 1, 2. All right? And in this, it's going to seem weird, but it'll make sense in a couple rows, I promise. Okay, so the chain 2 on top of the chain 3, if you want, it's a chain 5 altogether. But once you get that, come over here to where this chain 4 is from the previous row, and you're going to do 2 single crochets in this chain 4 space right here in the first chain 4 that you have. So do 2, 1, 2, okay, and then you're going to single crochet into the next double crochet after the chain 4 space right there. Okay, now this is going to look kind of funky. It's going to look like it's being drawn over here, but the next row that we do will fix that to where it makes this nice little corner look here. Okay, but you've got the first 3 single crochet. So you chain 2, and then towards the end here, you're going to skip the next 2 double crochets, and then you're going to put one single crochet in the third stitch. So it's like a mirror image of this side. You're just going to do it right here. So you put the one single crochet in the next double crochet after you skip 2, and then in this chain 4 space you work another 2 single crochet. And that kind of defines the jawbone a little more, and this little chain 2 space makes a nice little nose. Okay, and then after you get this chain 4 space with 2 single crochet, you're going to chain 2, and this is why we put the extra chain 2 over here. You're going to chain 2 between the 2 skulls, and you're going to just repeat the process that you did here, starting with the single crochets across. You're going to do it with every single jawbone that you have in this row. So after you chain 2 in the chain 4 space right here, work 2 single crochet. Okay, and then in the next double crochet you just work 1 single crochet. There's the start of your jawbone, and then chain 2 for the nose space. Then over here on the other side of your jawbone, do 1 single crochet in the last double crochet, or 3 in the third stitch from your last single crochet, if that makes more sense to you. And then in the chain 4 space, work 2 single crochets. Okay, so there's your next little jawbone. You can kind of see the skulls coming together a little bit. And then once you get that done, when you come to the end of your row, okay, you're going to have 4 or 5 stitches depending on where you placed your jawbones. You're going to have a certain number of stitches here. That's okay. You're just going to chain 2, and then you're going to work a treble crochet or triple. So wrap your hook twice, work it into the stitch on the very end, pull up, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And that makes the nice pretty little edge over here that you have the chains make over here. Okay, so with that being said, chain 1 and turn your work. Okay, so you can see the start of your skulls here. All right, now you chained 1. You're going to chain, or not chain, I'm sorry. You're going to single crochet around this chain 2 space here. So you're going to work 2 single crochets. 1, 2. Don't put it into the chains, put it around the chains. Okay, and then you're going to skip the next single crochet, and you're going to put 1 single crochet into the middle one here. All right, so 1 there. So right now you should have 3 single crochets all together in this row. 1, 2, 3, just in this row. You can see it kind of, the 2 single crochets here kind of help it keep the shape. You can add a border to the edge of this if you want to help it a little better, but you don't have to. Once you put that single crochet into this middle from the row below, you're going to chain 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is the eye. This is the start of the eye. And then you're going to do a double crochet in the chain 2 space below. So the nose space here, where you put the chain 2, you're just going to work a double crochet here. And this is the middle part that's going to separate the eyes. As you can see down here, this piece right here, that's the double crochet that you just made. And then you're going to chain 5 more. 4, 5, okay? And you're going to put a single crochet in the last single crochet here. Oops. Okay, so you got this. It's going to look kind of funky for a bit. That's okay. Once you work it a little bit more, it'll turn out a little better. But there's your eyes right there. Your eyes, your nose, your jawbone, you're halfway done. Once you get that done, you're going to chain 2, or around the chain 2, you're going to work 2 single crochet like you did at the beginning here. Okay? So work those 2 single crochet, and then you're going to put your next stitch is the single crochet in the middle. So you've got this set of 3 here, you're going to put a single crochet right here in the middle, in this middle single crochet. So you're going to do that, and then chain 5, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there's the start of your eye. Double crochet in the chain 2 space. There we go. There's one eye. Okay, chain 5 more. 4, 5, and then put a single crochet in the last single crochet there. Okay, so there's your eyes. And you're going to do that for every jawbone, for every skull that you have across your row. You're just going to repeat that whole process from the 2 single crochets around the previous chain 2 all the way through both chain 5s and the last single crochet in chain 2. So you're just going to keep doing that all the way across the row. Now when you get to the end of the row, if you remember, this is the chain 3 plus the chain 2 that looks kind of funky from below. Okay, so all you're going to do, chain 2, single crochet 2 around that chain, and that'll straighten it out. And that row is done. And chain 1 and turn your work. Now, for this row, we are going to put some height on the forehead. Okay, we're going to kind of work on outlining the eyes a little better, and it's going to give it that nice little curve that you see here and here. You're going to get that nice little curve on the side where I guess you could say the temples would be. But we're going to do that now. More slip stitches. I'm sorry. I promise this is the last for the repeat. Okay, so you're just going to slip stitch into each of the 2 single crochets from the row before. So you're just going to slip stitch those 2, and then the stitch here that anchors the chain 5, you're going to slip stitch into that. Okay, and then you're going to slip stitch around that chain. So you're essentially going to have 4 slip stitches. Okay, so there's that part, and then you're going to single crochet, and then you're going to do 5 half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, see how it kind of curves up a little bit right there? That's going to be the outline of the skull when it's finished. And then you are just going to go back down the other side. Oh, sorry, that fuzz is bothering me. You're just going to go back down the other side, and you're going to do 5 half doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you're going to do 1 single crochet. All right, and then you are going to do a slip stitch and anchor all of this into this stitch right here at the end of the chain. So you're just going to slip stitch it right there, and that'll anchor down the other side of your eyeball, so you kind of get that skull effect is starting to go on. You can kind of see it a little bit right there. If you don't slip stitch right there, this part of your skull is all going to be bunched up in the forehead, and it's just not going to look very good. So once you anchor all those stitches there, you're going to slip stitch into the next 2 single crochets from before. 1, 2, and then you're going to repeat the process that you did over here. You're going to do it for the next one, and you're going to do this all the way across your row for however many skulls you have. Okay, so just slip stitch into the one that anchors the chain, and then slip stitch around it. So you're going to put your hook under the chain, yarn over, and just pull through. And I like to pull up an extra one just to give it that little bit extra. And then you're just going to start with the single crochet, the 5 half doubles, and then you're going to go down the other side also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got one side done right there. See how nice that's starting to look? How it curves up right there just enough, and then you got the jawbone down here that's nice and defined. You can really see it coming out really well. And then you are going to do 5 more half doubles down the other side. 3, 4, 5, and a single. Okay, this is what I mean when I say about anchoring your stitches, because you can see the difference here. Let me take my hook out. Okay, you can see the difference between when you anchor your side with a slip stitch, how it curves real nicely, versus if you don't anchor it, how you kind of just have it stopping abruptly right there. It makes a big difference. So make sure you do that, because if not, you're gonna regret it later on in the pattern. So once you do that last single crochet, make sure you slip stitch to anchor it right there. This way you get this nice little curve on the edge of your skull. And then you're just going to slip stitch in the last couple stitches of your row. 1, 2. See? And you're going to do that all the way across for each skull that you have. Like I said, if it kind of looks funny, don't worry about it. It's going to be kind of awkward until it's blocked and finished. So as long as you get the general shape of your skull, the where you want it and how you want it, you're good. Blocking should take care of the rest of it. Once you are done with this row, you want to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn your work. Alright. Once you got this done, chain 2 more. It's one of those chain 5 situations again, like we had down here. Okay, this is the last part of the skull itself. This is where we give it the forehead. We just did the brow bone to outline the eyes. Now we're going to do the forehead. And this will be the last part of the actual skull. What you're going to do, this middle one right here, you're going to actually be half doubling 8 across the top of the skulls. But you got to be careful where you put these stitches. I like to take this middle piece right here, where that little hole is between the 2 half doubles from before. I count that as my 4th stitch. So 4, 3, 2, 1. So this will be my 1st half double here. Sorry, my yarn's old. There we go. And you see how that kind of anchors it in there. And it's the same thing as before. Once you do the next row, this will even out and it'll make a nice little angle there. But once you get your first stitch in, you're going to want to half double crochet 7 more across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's your forehead. And your skull is done. Okay, now to go to the next one, you are not going to chain 2 like you did down here. If you see here, it just goes from one to the next. I don't know how well you can tell, but there's no chain 2 space on the forehead. So once you get that 8th half double crochet on the top of your skull, you come over to the next one and you find your first stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there. And you just go right into the next 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. And there's your next skull. And it will come out looking like that. There's still going to be a space in here between them, but it's not going to be a chain 2 space because you need to still keep the original count from the first row. This way your skulls will come out even every time. Okay, so since we did an extra chain 2 over here, we need to chain 2 on this side just to keep it even. Just put my, there we go. So chain 2 here. And then you're going to once again treble or triple down into the last stitch of this row down here. And that'll even it out. This way you have the same thing on both sides. Put my camera to focus. There we go. There. You have the same space on either side. Okay. And there's your skulls. Now from here, all you do is repeat the 2 solid rows of half double crochet, and then you repeat this section here. This is your pattern repeat, the skulls here. So in order to do the solid rows, you just chain up 2, and then you do 2 half doubles in each space at the beginning and the end, and then 1 half double in each stitch across. And that'll give you this look here. But that is how I have accomplished the skulls and the rows. If you have any questions, you can email me, message me, find me on Facebook, whatever. I will put all of that information in the description below or wherever it may be. But I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Like I said, if you have any questions, just message me. I will also include the video link for the beanie where I originally found this pattern because, like I said, this is not my pattern. I just changed it a little bit to work back and forth in rows. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to always block and wash your work when you're done. It will come out so much better. Thanks for watching, you guys. Have a great day.